Hey, it's Marissa, MKissa Creations on Instagram, and this is a Flosstube video. This is Flosstube number 18, and it is Saturday, July 9th. Thanks for stopping by my channel. It's been a little while since I filmed, but I have been stitching. Kind of a life update. I made some pretty big career changes, and definitely for the better mentally. Life's good. And I'm designing again, so that's exciting. I cut off all my hair. That's exciting. I feel like sometimes that's worrisome, but in this case it was not. It was very exciting. But yeah, I have a lot to show you today. I still have all my market purchases and everything that I haven't showed off yet. Yeah, so let's go. I just have a big pile, so I'm gonna go through it and we can chat about the stuff as it happens. So this is what I'm working on right now. It is a happily ever after wedding piece. These are all my colors in here. And it's a way overdue wedding present. So I need to be working on this. I'm also stitching a model that needs to be done for the Stitch Main retreat. So that has first priority, and this has next priority. And then hopefully Whip Go pieces will come after that. So I'm going to show you what got called this month on Whip Go too, and then what I've worked on for Whip Go also. And my finish, which I don't even think I ever posted on Instagram. So the only people that have seen it are the Stitchy group that I stitch with sort of regularly. I'm definitely trying to make more of an effort to get on to my online groups that I've been a part of, and just kind of get back in the game. I guess I just go in waves for stitching, and that's okay. That's what happens, and it keeps me from losing my passion about it and my fire. So let's see. I guess I'll dig through the pile for the finish first, because that's exciting. You all want to see that. So this is Our Lasting Friendship from Blackbird Designs. The last time you saw it, I was pretty close. My stitching group, we started this in 2019 and kind of passed it around through the pandemic. We each stitched on random pieces on other people's patterns, and so I chose my own colors. I chose the called for fabric, which is Legacy from Picture This Plus. My colors are all cotton and cotton, which this is my list. So if you want to copy that down or do whatever, that's how I stitched it. I passed around a little notebook with my piece. So I encouraged my friends to write little blurbs in it. Penny put pictures of what she stitched. People wrote if they made mistakes or how cool this project was. This stitching group is what made me feel welcome in Maine when I got here. Helen D promptly invited me over to her house after I had been in Maine for 12 days. And I am extremely grateful for that forever and ever and ever. So thank you, Helen. But anyway, so I finally finished this, and this is my finished piece. So the border actually calls for 2 different colors, but I never switched it, and I didn't even do my corresponding color to that color. I just picked which one I thought would look best as the border, and I feel like it changes enough to give it that look. So I changed my pattern. I managed to get the little house in, but we had one more person stitching than there were assigned spots. So Cheryl kind of made her own little motif there to put her initials in, and I left out, there's kind of like a weird little like lonesome dog right here, and so I just pulled him out. And well, I told my friends not to stitch him because I knew that that's where I was putting my, so then I put my initials right there, which do not fit in any of the motifs as charted if you have my combination of initials. And I think Helen's, I think she had to modify hers too. And I think I said that in my last video. But beautiful pattern, beautiful stitch. I love the Color and Cotton. These are all Color and Cottons that I had previously gotten from the Primitives Floss Club. And I just pulled what I thought would look good. I had it stitched 1/1 on, I don't know if it's 16 or 18, I forget. I think it's 18 count. It's on 18 count Aida 1/1. So it is very like faint. It's actually showing up really well. Sometimes even in real life, it doesn't show up as well as it is appearing right now. I put 2020 as the date because 2020 was a suck, and this is not, and it is definitely like a thing that makes me happy. So I put 2020 on there. It's also, I think, the year that we did like the majority of the stitching on it, and like had to like figure out how to pass it around to all of our friends while like going to each other's houses or dropping it off at somebody's work or mailing it. And so it just ended up being, I don't know, kind of symbolic of that year. So it got that year on it. So that was my big finish. I do have an FFO, which I will show you right now also. You saw the finish in my last video, and it came back from the framer. And my burst sampler for my youngest. It is Long Dog Samplers Bienvenue. And I got it framed at Michael's. The colors are just random. I just randomly picked to put them where they are. It's charted as a monochromatic piece. My dye lots don't match. I don't care. It still looks pretty. So don't get lost in the details, you guys. Just don't. It's not worth it. Just enjoy what you're stitching. It's gonna look good. It's gonna look great. She's super happy when she saw it framed. And then I'm gonna show you my other daughter's piece because I used like some of the same colors, so they're sort of color coordinated, but they're not style coordinated at all. So this is Bent Creek's Baby Row. So the colors that I took from it are like this teal that's on the outside, the heart, the gray is the same, the minty color is the same. So they like can live in the same room together. They're definitely styled very differently, but my kids are very different. Although funny, this one suits, they suit each other's personalities differently, and their names. So it's just, I don't know, it's the world. I also though thought that I named one of my daughters like the wrong name at the hospital. They give you a lot of drugs, like if you have to have surgery, and I went back and forth on 2 names that we had decided and signed her birth certificate and her social security card stuff, and then called her the other name. But her name suits her perfectly, and I did choose the right name. But weird stuff. Anyways, it's my fun overshare fact of the day. Okay. Try to keep myself semi-organized. It's not really gonna happen because I have a whole pile of stuff that I bought from market and just randomly, and I have whips to show you, and I have upcoming what's it called? Whip Go to show you. So first, I just told you I stitched that Our Lasting Friendship sampler in Color and Cottons, and I used to be on the Color and Cotton. Oh, we might be having troubles. We're having troubles. I'll be right back. Okay, I think the trouble has passed, but we shall see. All right, so I was telling you that I stitched that Our Lasting Friendship in Color and Cotton, and I had, in the pandemic, canceled my floss club for Color and Cotton, and I was in the Primitives Club, and I put myself back on the waiting list because I wanted more of her colors, especially because I think I'm going to start designing with some of them because they're really pretty. So I joined her all colors floss club, so I get 5 skeins every month. Let's see, so I've been doing it March, April, May, June. So you've probably all seen these, but I'm going to show you anyways, and I'm just going to leave them in the package. So this is March. Also, this was super smart because look, when I'm holding it up to you, I know what month it was. Genius. Genius. All right. So those are beautiful spring colors. And then April. May. And June. So I think this one is going in a sampler that I'm designing, but I'm not sure yet. But anyways, so they're so pretty. Angela's floss and her fabric are gorgeous. So I also got some fabric from her. Let's see where that is in this pile. Ah, yes. And some complimentary floss. But I got aged paper, which I think is what I will be designing on. So pretty. Did I hold that up like totally upside down? Aged paper. That's what it looks like. So that's one of the purchases. And then I guess I'll just show you. I'll show you. I was in a fabric club for a while. I stopped. It was Forbidden Fiber. I feel like I got enough colors that I liked and kind of gave me like a different variety to choose from. I like that she does every other month neutrals and then like colors, but I have not been starting enough projects to have a fabric club. And I also would like to get on Color and Cottons when it opens up. So I'm on that waiting list, and I just want to be able to actually need that when it happens so that I don't have to turn it down. So these are the colors that I have for now. So this one is called Celadon, and I actually have a plan for this one, which this is going to go on that. So this is Emma Congdon. It is from a Just Cross Stitch magazine that I can't remember of which one, but I think that'll be pretty perfect. I might have to change some of the greens in the stem, but in reality I don't think so. It's all charted in DMC or Anchor or Madeira. I will be using the DMC, but I'm really excited about this. So bulbs were like, in California it was really difficult to have, like if you wanted tulips you had to have like space in your freezer to put them in the winter time because the ground never got cold enough to actually like have bulb plants survive. So here we moved into our house in Maine when there was snow on the ground, And then in the springtime, all of these amazing, beautiful flowers that the woman who lived here before us had planted started coming up. And now that we've been here for 3 years in this house, I know what order they come up in, and I think this is just such a cool representation of that. So I'm really excited to get that stitched. So it's going on this at some point. I think I need to finish like one more big thing before I need to get a bingo on WhipGo, and then I can start like a new big-ish project. And that's, what is this? 120 high by 179 wide. So it's not small. I like how they put the stitch time on here. 40 hours. It's kind of awesome, but also I guess it gives like a good reality to people that don't stitch, that like it takes a long time to do this. You all know that if you're watching this, most likely, unless you like know me in real life and are watching me because you're watching me, and that's okay. I appreciate you being here. Me and all my old lady hobby glory. So I also got buttered popcorn. No idea what I'm doing with this one. Chosen. This came in the... She did a Sunnydale, like a summer in Sunnydale box, which I was like super excited about, but also disappointed in. This fabric's pretty. And I will definitely use it for something. But the other... I think I have the floss nearby, maybe. I don't know. It was lackluster. And then this one, red clay. Okay. Sorry, I didn't mean to be a bummer, but that's where that fabric came from. These are from 123 Stitch. I ordered them because I needed a blue for my model, and I didn't know what I was going to use. This is the one I did end up using that's on here, and it is... the tag's gone. I have to look it up. But it looks almost like clouds. It's like a nice blue, not like blue-gray, not blue, green, blue. It's blue. I do, Pam from Pam and Stuff is stitching, it's a By the Bay needle art, and it is called like New England Wailing Waters or something like that. I've talked about it before. It's like a depiction of a New England sleigh ride, which my dad also had like carved on a piece of like scrimshaw, but not scrimshaw because he didn't, that's on like ivory tusks, I think, and my dad didn't do that, but he did it on something else, probably a shell, or I don't know what. He was like one of those men that just does things, and also an artist. So anyways, we had a New England sleigh ride thing in our house, and so that stitch is like one of those things that reminds me of like my mom and my dad together. The only other thing that I have like that encompasses that the same way is a Red Sox Grateful Dead shirt. That is the randomness of my family. Anyways, so blues. You're getting like a little story with everything today. Apparently I haven't talked to the camera in a while, and we're just oversharing. Oh, it's gonna be fun. I also placed an order with Lindy Stitches because she had Vintage Country Mocha in stock in 32 count, which is also potential for the sampler that I'm charting. And I have never even like held a piece of it, but I know everyone stitches on it, and it is really pretty, and it does match. So it's gonna be, so here, but let me show you next to the Color and Cotton aged paper, because I think that I'm probably, the aged paper has less like of modeling, and I guess it's a little peachier. So this is the aged paper, and this is the vintage country mocha. This is showing up much pinker than it is in real life, I feel like. Let's see. Nope. That's what's color it's staying for you. So, but yeah, so I bought that. And then she also had her little sticker plates on sale. So these just like go on the back of a project after it's framed. Title, stitched by, date, and special notes. So I bought 2 packs of those. And then she sent along this cute little pattern. It's called Dee's New Hat. Which is pretty cute. And then, all right, I'm going to show you some whips, and then I'll show you what I bought from Market, because none of that was Market. That was just all like other random stuff. All right. So what I worked on for WhipGo. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 WhipGo finishes out of 13 calls. Not too bad. I mean, one of them is the free space. So, but all right, so this is like technically a finish because my goal was to stitch on it for 10 days, and I did that. So this is Sleeping Princess by Mirabilia. And it is being stitched on 32 count Moana from Hand Dyed Fabrics by Stephanie. And so I got some more mattresses done. But she's coming along. I mean, it's so pretty. Like when you finally start filling in like all of the pieces and all the holes, and it just has so much dimension. Like she charts absolutely beautifully. So I need to find the Krynic that I need, because a lot of what is missing in here is Krynic. I always thought that this would like go in my girls' room, but it will never be done before maybe they'll still love princesses, but it'll probably end up in my room. It'll probably end up in my craft room, my office. But I love it. It's my only Mira. I have been tempted by a few others, but have not pulled the trigger on them yet. I do have one that Helen gifted me. It's like a mother and child. Not the mother and child, but I don't know when I'm going to stitch that. And it's like full coverage, I think. So I don't know when that's going to happen. I forgot to get one out. Ooh. Okay. And then, so that was Sleeping Princess. And then Deck the Halls you saw. I showed you in my last video. I didn't pull that for today because that was the other one that got called in February. And then March was my Christmas list. So that's Silver Creek Samplers. And number 7, Dreidel Dreidel. Ooh, I didn't grab that one. Let's see. Oh, good. It's right there. Okay. All right. So I had a very December holiday-y March. Is that what we said? 15, my Christmas list. Oh no, and 20 and 21. And 21, Tiki Beach Sunset. Ooh, okay. So, my Christmas list by Silver Creek Samplers. And last time you saw it, I just had the turkey done. I don't even think I had the words, or I had part of the turkey done. So I got the turkey done, and then the sweater, and those 2 sets of words. So that one is coming along. I was not having a ton of stitching time during that, so like what I was getting done was like a couple random nights here and there, and like if there was a time stamp on it, then like I'd stitched that amount of nights. But like my nights of stitching sometimes were like 30 minutes, an hour before I was like dead to the world. I never have a picture of this one ready to show you, I'm sorry. So the other one that got called was Tiki Beach Sunset by Hade. If I remember, I'll try to put a picture in right here of what it looks like finished. This one, I realized I probably left too much border for the amount of fabric that I had, so I'm gonna have to make some modifications at the end, but that time is very far away because this is like, I think like 2.5% completed or something, maybe 3%. But how stinking pretty is that? I am always amazed because you look at your Hade like this while you're stitching it, and it's a full-on Monet. This up close, it's a big mess. But you take a step back and it is magical. So, yeah. So the page, my goal for this was a page finish. So the page finish is like here, and then like across here, I think, like right through the lizard, and then up from here. So the way that I stitch Hade, I don't park, I don't stitch in boxes, I pick a color, and I use Pattern Keeper, so it makes this much easier. I don't think you could do this method. I mean, you could do this method with paper and a highlighter, but it would take much longer, and I don't know if it would be... the other methods lend better to paper. This method lends pretty well to Pattern Keeper. So what I do is I find like the closest hole that I'm missing a thread from like the corner essentially, and then I pick that color. So like when I start this again, depending on if I'm going this way or this way, but let's just say hypothetically I'm going this way. So I would pick like right here and figure out what color that is. Highlight it, pull a strand of it off, and then stitch it out or down, whatever way it goes, as far as either until there's like a big giant jump that I don't want to make with carrying, or if there aren't any more of that color stitches in that area. But I don't limit myself to a 10 by 10 block. I don't limit myself to a row. And part of that is because my last Hade that I started, it was all black border, or all black background for like pretty much the whole top corner. And I was stitching 10 stitches up and back, 10 stitches up and back, 10 stitches up and back, 10 stitches up and back. And what it did was it created like a line down my pattern, and a line down my pattern, and a line down my pattern. So sometimes you'll see people that feather and like go out and like kind of make a zigzag with their stitches. This is, I guess, my way of doing that without having to like end a thread before it ends. So I'll show you my back just so you can kind of see. It's not the neatest thing ever because I do carry because of the way that I stitch Hade. But it's not terrible. And this is a pretty confetti heavy section piece. This whole piece is confetti heavy. It is not, because the other one I was stitching was Lisa Parker, and hers are only confetti heavy in like her detail areas. Her backgrounds are just nothing. So that's what my back looks like. So, I mean, like up here, there was like a little bit more confetti, and, but it's not, I mean, it's not terrible. You can see the parts that were like definitely more solid color. Like down here. Looks much neater. That would be like what I would prefer a normal back look like, but a hade's a hade, it's a hade. And it's just not gonna look like that. So, but so that was March. I finished my section of Tiki Beach Sunset. Every time I pick this one back up, I want to stitch it again, and so I don't know. I don't have time right now. I mean, I have time, but I have other priorities right now, so that it just kind of has to wait. That's the hard part about having a lot of whips, is that it's not overwhelming for me in the fact that like I have a lot that just like kind of need to be worked on, but it's when you really like get inspired to work on one and then you have stuff that you need to finish on a deadline. That, I think that's where some of the joy can like get sucked out. But for the most part, like they're all still very joyful for me right now. All right, so then April 10 and 7. So Patriotic Needle Queen, I think I got it out for a couple days. I didn't stitch anything major on it. And then Dreidel Dreidel. I did get a good chunk done on Dreidel Dreidel. I got to one of the edges, so that was exciting. This is Ink Circles, Dreidel Dreidel. It's like one of the few Hanukkah pieces that exists. I definitely also have a dreidel piece in my shop that I designed, but this one is definitely a bit more on the elegant side than from what I design. So I got all the way to the edge here. This is on the top edge here. And it is just really cool. Like I don't know, when you look at this and you look at the pattern, and even looking at this cover, there were some things I just didn't really notice like were a thing, and now they are. And I've never stitched this is my first like Ink Circles mandala style stitch. I am stitching her 99, which is all the beer bottles, and I don't even know if you can notice it like when you're looking at it stitched. I think it does show up better when you look at it stitched. So like right behind this dreidel is a Torah scroll. So like the two sides of the Torah, and then there's like writing on it. And oh gosh, she's just a genius. A total genius. Like I didn't even notice that there until I stitched it. And even while I was stitching it, I didn't really even realize what it was. I was just like, oh, look at these cool shapes. And then I was like, oh my God. So I guess this is probably like a fourth of the way done. So I hopefully will pick it up before we get to the holidays. I don't know if I'll finish it. I get easily distracted with this one because I don't know, it takes concentration. It takes concentration, and then like you've already stitched something one way and you like kind of got like a method down, and then you have to stitch it in a different direction, so you have to like adjust your method. Then when you get to the third way, you can just flip your whole project and do it. But I don't know, it's heaven forbid mommy do a floss tube. So many edits. All right, so then May was 13, so the free space. 14, which is the ampersand on my Prairie Schooler alphabet, which I didn't pick up That's actually the first one that's been called that I just did not get to. And then All Creatures Great and Small. So All Creatures Great and Small is by Barbara Anna Designs. It's a pretty big piece. My goal is to, for the year, which I did not complete in this rotation, so I will need to pick this back up, is to finish the whole left side. But I did get a pretty good chunk done. So I stitched, let's see, I stitched the whole cow, and this butterfly I hadn't had done, and then this tree and the flower and the bird, who you can't really see very well on this, but you can see him in real life. And then I stitched the grass out that way. There's some flowers that need to go under here, and so that is almost half of the left-hand pages. So it's, I think I'm missing, like it ends like over here where this cow is. So there's another motif that I need to get it in right there, and then the little flowers down here, and then I can move down a little bit further. But this piece is so pretty, but it's a lot. That cow is a big cow. This pig is a big pig, but I have it split into two. The small motifs are easy, you get done quickly, and then you feel like very accomplished, and then you have a big pink barn or a big giant cow or a big giant pig to stitch, and then you're stitching on the same animal thing in the same color for a long time. And it's okay. But that's what like stops me sometimes. All right, so All Creatures Great and Small, done. And then June 16, Our Lasting Friendship. So that's done and dusted, and you already saw it. And 9, which is Snug as a Bug. I feel like this is like a very underrated pattern that we don't see very often. Actually, I've never seen anybody else stitch it. If you're stitching this, let me know. I would love to see somebody else's pattern, because even the picture on the pattern is a digital mock-up. So like, I've never seen this stitched ever. So show me if you're stitching this, or if you stitched it, if you started it. Snug as a bug in a rug, or just snug as a bug. Snug as a bug. So I, my goal for this is 3 bugs. I finished finally the first bug. That butterfly took a long time, but I think it's probably the most complicated, or moth. It's probably the most complicated other than this one, color-wise, like color changes, back stitching. So I think the other one should go fairly quickly. I am going to take this back out sooner rather than later and try to get a couple more done, but with the couple deadline pieces that I had to put this away. But let me show you my beautiful, I don't know if this is a moth or a butterfly. I think it's a moth. I wonder if it, hang on. I was just seeing if they have listed what they are. They don't. I mean, there's a death head moth on there pretty clearly, but I have one of those too. I was just looking at different interpretations. Interesting. Okay. Sorry. This is what you're here for. So, like, the color changes. I mean, it's just it's charted very well. It's not a typical Clouds Factory. Like, from what a lot of the Clouds Factory stuff that I usually see is like the little people, and I'm not a lot of those patterns are cute. They're just not my style. But this is just so cool. And I don't even know if it's still available in their shop. But like I said, if you have stitched this or are stitching this, can you please let me know? Because I would love, love, love to see anyone else's. And also maybe we could like sell it or stitch on Zoom together or something to where like we would get motivated to do this. Or maybe like we could just do, if you're stitching like butterflies or moths or bugs, then we could do a sal for that. There's a couple beautiful moth patterns out there and butterfly patterns. I know Cozy Egg has one. I know Carriage House Samplings has one. Or Kathy Barrett. Right? Yeah. HL's Moth. But yeah. Stitch bugs with me. July is now, right? I have not picked up any of the July pieces because of the other stuff I'm working on, but hopefully I will. So July is number 11 and number 18. Number 11 is my wedding sampler, which is the Token by Long Dog Samplers. So I finished one Long Dog, now I need to finish this other one. So this is where this one's at. My goal for WIPGO is to finish 3 motifs. So this motif that is started is like, I think, the biggest one in the project. So there's that. And I am stitching it in Silks for You Silk. And I think it's like 188 is the color. Let's see. So it varies between, like, I feel probably like an 8, 14 or 15 on the dark to like a 666 maybe, like Christmas red. So that one, and I did, actually I ordered, and I have them somewhere. I ordered a couple of aquas to try out because I do want to put either, I think I'm going to put our wedding date and our initials in aqua because that was like the coordinating color for our wedding. And that's my wedding quilt. I've showed it before in another video, but it's our guest book. All right, and then the other one that got called for July is Yuletide Shanty from Plum Street Samplers. And I actually have this written down for a finish, which is not going to happen because of the big giant whale. It's a drum. It's a drum, and then so the side, like the side of it is this big giant whale. So it's not going to be completed. I'm working on the top still, which is actually pretty close to being completed. It's being stitched on 36 count weathered shingle, which is the called for. There's my little Santa on his ship. All right. Last thing. And then I will edit all of the interruptions out of this for you all. not going to be pretty. It's already not pretty. The aftermath of a Flosstube video was insane. All right. So a couple years ago, I downloaded these patterns from Erica Michaels, and she re-released the instructions for completing the sampler book. So I already have the patterns. This is just the so like you can download all the patterns for free for all of the letters in this. This is just the instructions and then the pattern for the front and the back covers. So what I am planning on doing is saving 32 count linens, or maybe trading for pieces of 32 count linens that are all kind of different, and stitching each letter on a different fabric and putting them all together and having a little sampler book. So I'm super excited for that. It's just going to be like an ongoing long project, and that's okay because a lot of my projects are ongoing long projects. So I snatched this up, and then I forget who I ordered from this year. I think I ordered from Abby Topknot because I think it just was easy. Abby Topknot's shop is there, man. All right, and then I ordered Heartstring Samplery, Be Still My Heart. I have no idea when this is gonna get stitched. I just loved it. Maybe when I finish my one of my first two Heartstring Sampleries that are already started. So I have this one. It's like a roll-up mat and a needle book. And then I could not resist this one because I collect tomato pin cushions. So Keeper of the Pins booklet from Brenda Gervais. And then just the fact that it's a booklet. It has how many different patterns? 1, 2, 4, 5. Has 6 different patterns in it. That's a deal. This was a hard decision to make because there were so many tomato pin cushions that came out at market last year. Or this year. And I loved them all, but this is the one that I bought. And then I also bought the moons of 2022. So Kathy Barrick has said that she's going to release these every year, the coordinating moons. There's a weird kind of moon situation, and sometimes they're not always named the same depending on where the full moons fall. Also, this angel will be replaced by probably other stars. Creepy cherubs are creepy, but that's like easily changeable, and it's nothing on the design, it's just my preference. But everything else is beautiful and amazing, and I could not avoid getting this. I have no idea when I will stitch it, and it's one of those ones that like I might actually want to do that in the silk rather than the DMC. It's charted in MPI, like the model stitch in MPI. She always gives DMC conversions, but we all know that it doesn't look the same. Some of them do, but some of them you need these. So that's it. I was pretty restrained just because I do have like a lot of patterns already that probably should get stitched, and I didn't need a ton of new ones, so I tried to be selective with what I purchased. And I mean, people are just coming out with new stuff all the time, and then I'm trying to design stuff too, and I just try to make sure that it stays fun and is not like stressful. So thank you so much for joining me today. I don't think I have. I used to always do like a main thing. I don't know if I'm running out of main things. We do have, so there's this, we call it the Barcade, but it's a bar, but it's called Arcadia. And they have like pinball machines. They have like all tons of old pinball machines, new pinball machines, old arcade games, skee ball. And it's a bar. And at like night, it's grown-ups only. And we went there for the first time and it's amazing. So check out if your town has something like that, because it was such like just a super fun night of playing like old. I love pinball. My husband likes pinball. So we just had pinball fun. Except yeah. We went and I thought we looked at all of the pinball machines. And then the next day, or like a week later on social media, they posted a picture of the Demolition Man pinball game. You guys, I am obsessed with that movie. Also, kind of like held up during pandemic. Like you watch it now and the stuff that seemed so like far-fetched and like out there became a reality during pandemic. Like Zoom meetings and stuff were straight from that movie. I mean, I know there's been other movies that have it in there, but including the toilet paper shortage. It's not for children. That movie is not for children. It's for grown-ups. But Sandra Bullock is like wee baby Sandra Bullock in that movie. There is also hilarious. I mean, I know Arnold Schwarzenegger was like already dipping his toe into like politics and stuff, but like there's straight up like jokes about like Schwarzenegger having been president in that movie, because it's a Sylvester Stallone movie. So like the like banter between those two like muscly shoot them up men was like funny. There's no banter in that movie. It's just like a nice knock like from the outside. There's also like a random like Rambo reference in it. Wesley Snipes is the bad guy. He's a pretty good bad guy. Like my biggest first like grown-up crush is in that movie. Dennis Leary. If you saw my type, I guess that would make sense if you knew what my husband looked like. Watch Demolition Man. Oh, Benjamin Bratt's in it too. Baby Benjamin Bratt. Who else is in it? One of the guys from Beetlejuice is in it. Rob Schneider. Might be Rob Schneider's best movie. Some of his other ones I cannot stand. Yeah. It's one of those movies that a lot of people haven't seen. Maybe that's what I should do. I was talking to one of my friends, and he and I have like I might switch to that, is like random movies that you probably never saw from the 80s and 90s that you really should watch. Even if you just watch them once. Most of them are going to be stupid. Stupid's a bad word. We don't say stupid. Most of them are going to be really silly movies or really culty movies, because that was my style, and it still kind of is. I actually don't watch very many new movies. I like to live in the past. I also read somewhere that that's what people with anxiety do, is that they watch old movies, familiar movies and familiar TV shows, because of the comfort of knowing what's going to happen and not having to be like emotionally distressed about it. But I also watch movies over and over again because then I don't have to pay attention to them and they're just kind of background noise. So that might be your new thing that you get. Anyways, there's a Demolition Man pinball game and I didn't get to play it because I didn't know it was there. So like we're going back. That was like a really long way to get into that. Are you interested in hearing my ridiculous movie recommendations? Because I'm not going to do it if nobody cares. or if you're just all going to turn it off, or you're like, Marissa keeps telling me to watch these silly, ridiculous movies that I can only make it through like 15 minutes of. It's hard to now because a lot of stuff's problematic. Like some of my favorite movies have some very, very problematic issues in them, which we will talk about if I recommend them. But we'll give, disclaimers. Because that's old movies. Like, we're just gonna go right now. I'm not recommending this because it's just like so bad. Like, don't revisit Revenge of the Nerds. Like, that movie is epically rapey. I can't. I mean, maybe not the first one, but probably the first one, and Animal House. Like, even 16 Candles. Like, sometimes it stinks being aware. I can still watch 16 Candles, but we literally talk about it every time we watch it because, oh my gosh, Jake Ryan, like, puts his drunk girlfriend in a car with the nerd, with the geek, and tells him to have fun, and that she doesn't know what's going on. Well, this went in a direction that I never expected it to. So, I guess some people do book chat at the end of their videos, so I can do movie chat. I do read books also, but that's few and far between. I have a 5-year-old and a 6-year-old. There's not always time for books, especially because I can watch a movie and cross-stitch at the same time. I can't read a book and cross-stitch at the same time. I could listen to them, but I'm not a huge fan of that. I space out too much, and then I miss stuff, and then I'm not happy about it. Anyways, thank you. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for being here. Thank you for coming back. If you're back, thank you for filming Flosstube videos. If you're already filming Flosstube videos, if you haven't filmed a Flosstube video before and you're thinking about doing it, just do it. Just ramble into your camera for 20 minutes, 40 minutes, an hour. If people watch it, they watch it. If they don't, they don't. I turned 40 this year and I don't care anymore. I mean, I care about the world, but I don't. I'm me. I'm who I am. That's not going to change. I'm 40 now. Like, this is who you get. This is what I look like. This is what I sound like. This is who I am. I've definitely been digging back into that lately of like, what made me not feel this way. And I know a lot of that is like youth and all this stuff, but I am also very careful about what I tell my children. The comments that I make to my children, the comments that they hear, the things that are around. Like, there's so much outside banter for everybody in this world. Just do you. Be you. If people don't like you, then they don't like you. That's okay. You're not here for them. You're here for you. Be kind to your friends. Be kind. But be you. That is all of my rambling for today. I am officially done. This is going to be uncomfortable to edit. Have a great day, you guys. Or you all.